If you ever had a meeting online, you might have used this software. For the past 15 years, Calendly has been the most used scheduling platform in the world. With over 20 million users by the 2020s, more than 80% of the Fortune 500 uses the app in their companies. So, how did a platform that went viral organically dominate the scheduling market? Well, here's how. Okay, so it snowed like crazy the other day. It was a big snowstorm in New York, and it was about a foot of snow everywhere. And so parking, it's not an option today, man. Once again, it'll just be me in the car. Today's video is on Calendly. And I really like this company because it's one of those companies that's kind of low key, but also very ubiquitous. Anyone in a workspace environment probably at least uses Calendly or Zoom. So how did they begin? Well, Calendly started out when this IBM salesman, Tope Awatona, was frustrated with the way meetings was being scheduled. So instead of accepting what was, he set out to fix it. He emptied his savings and set out to build a simple tool, building a schedule system that was intuitive for the average person. See, Tope wasn't a rookie either. He tried his hand in business a few times but kept coming up short because the problems he was trying to solve, the market didn't really need. So knowing where he had to focus on and keeping costs low, he sought out a team called Railsware from the Ukraine to help with the development. And after 6 months, they had a minimal viable product to go to market with. Now, this is where the Calendly team got really lucky, and it might have been the reason why Calendly became the unicorn company we see today. At launch, they ran out of money to integrate a payment option for users, so the platform basically became free to use. This was a happy accident. By making it free to users, the platform became viral through word of mouth. Initially becoming popular amongst people in ed tech, it gradually spread to enterprise companies, especially sales. For people who worked in high volume scheduling roles, this changed the game for them. Calendly's one-click link sharing was a time saver. People no longer had to spend time on constant emailing to see when someone was available. With over 100K users and the core product going strong, Calendly had a bit of momentum. And so Tope decided to add a paid tier to the platform. It didn't go really well, as it wasn't initially mentioned to customers and it seemed like a cash grab coming from Calendly. I mean, people were pretty upset. The CTO didn't really agree with it and eventually left the company. Things slowed down a bit until Tope was able to fully refine the freemium model. And by then, they hit 1 million in recurring revenue. The following year, they added key features that advanced workflows for teams and enterprises. The same year was the time they reached a profit of over 1 million. In the latter parts of 2010s, embedding apps like Slack and Zoom just increased their user base. Calendly was in a great position. Having the software being integrated into other workflows was extremely beneficial, especially to companies that were in the Fortune 500. They even got scrappy when things got a bit difficult for teams who were trying to have multiple users on their software. Tope and the team hopped on calls with these people and helped them with managing the software. This simple human-assisted aid led to Calendly having a 10x expansion without having to create a full-on sales division to advertise the product. The company was the definition of product-led growth. Launching an app in 2019, Calendly came into the 2020s with 7 million in recurring revenue. The pandemic plus the explosion of Zoom allowed Calendly to also increase their user base. Recurring revenue reaching 100 million by 21, Calendly became valued at 3 billion. That same years, they raised capital for the first time to fund hiring and improve on product. And to me, I think something you can say about their hurdles around this time is that their sales team focused on converting customers who already were going to convert instead of prospects that didn't know if they wanted to. Not only did it confuse customers, but it spiked their costs, leading to burning time and money for the company. And while giants like Google and Microsoft decided to increase their footprint in the scheduling market, Calendly, they took a different approach. Knowing how well the software became for people in sales, it doubled down on trying to optimize itself on sales workflows. In other words, it connects the right clients with the right salespeople by asking questions before someone books the meeting. This feature helps people in sales and recruiting roles not get confused if they have to rearrange or keep track of things that are happening. Something Google and Microsoft haven't figured out yet. So eventually, Calendly moved up to being a sales enablement layer. The idea of pre-vetting the lead or customers before meeting. And this is why Calendly is not just a way to track your calendar. It's a part of how a company can make money. And in recent years, they've cut employees from the company. And for them, they saw it as a strategic reorganization. After hiring costs outpaced revenue in 21, Tope was being shrewd on how to progress gradually, now that the viral growth was slowing down. What this looked like was a restructuring of the C-suite, such as appointing a new CTO who previously worked for companies like Meta and PayPal. And they brought him in to focus on scaling the product even more, or the go-to-market department, to help harmonize Calendly. And in 2025, they launched a developer API so users can add custom extensions. For example, creating a WhatsApp bot that can book events and availability without the need to redirect someone to Calendly. Even though Calendly is still private, it still manages to be present, and it's needed for large-scale companies. The complaints aren't huge. The CEO did mention how he plans to incorporate more AI features onto the platform. But like all speculation, we'll just have to see. Companies like Calendly are interesting because it can add a new component every 5 to 10 years that can evolve it into something else that it previously was. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Oracle, which started out just selling database systems to companies and is now a giant in cloud computing. It's interesting to see how far up the ladder Calendly will go. I guess we'll just have to see. Well, that's all for the video. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts on what you think about the Calendly company. I certainly like it. All right, later.